Game of Thrones off.
And
Today I'm going to recap the 8 parts of this movie. A girl with Daenerys pale purple eyes. And in the future she be the mother of dragons. To be able to rule the 7 kingdoms. Not wandering around like now forever. Meanwhile, his brother decides to sacrifice his sister exchange for 40,000 Conrogo troops to reclaim their family's throne. And when Daenerys first saw Rogo, she was fascinated because his shape is so strong and so big. 6 Jerry next to his sister. He's a Dothraki. Every time a tribe of 7 loses a fight, they'll cut off their braids as a punishment. But with this Conrogo, I've never tasted 7 failures. After listening to my brother, Daenerys carefully moves forward, watching the princess move towards beauty as in fairy tales. Now Rogo watches and is silent, and led the entourage away. Jerry was confused about what to do, but the regent laughed and told him that Ogo already has a crush on Daenerys. In the not-too-distant future, I'll lead the army provided by Ogo, cross the sea to destroy the usurper who betrayed to reclaim their family's throne. But now Daenerys is only 13 years old. I don't want to be the queen of Zogo. I just want to go back to Dragon Island. Go back to your old house. But right now, 6 Jerry suddenly said hard words. Let all the men in the military. Sleeping with sister. I just need to be able to take back the throne. It's all worth it. After hearing his brother's cruel words, now the Daenerys' eyes had no life left. She seemed to see the shadow of father's brutality in the person of his brother. So Zogo and Daenerys' wedding went as planned. And in the wedding ritual of the Dothraki, at least 3 people were killed. The wedding is considered a success. In the process of the warriors fighting, representatives of the tribes also in turn offered offerings. He served the king of the palace, father of Daenerys. And on the road ahead, he'll protect you. I'm exiled with my own life. Next, the regent also offered his precious offering. In the box are 3 fossilized dragon eggs. Even though giant dragons have been extinct for hundreds of years, contemporary people don't even believe they ever existed. But Daenerys is the one who knows. Your family has run countless giant dragons. See, I ruled 7 kingdoms for nearly 300 years to offer a mighty white horse, giving Daenerys as a wedding gift. And then you put her on a horse. Serve him well. The couple's wedding night officially began. And from here Daenerys became the man, Zogo's lady after that night. Then, the army marches towards the Dothraki headquarters. The Daenerys feels fear and insecurity about the life to come. Now you just put all your hope into Kia's fossilized dragon eggs. Don't care about anything else. But every time I see a slave being spanked, she can't help it. So I asked all raw holders to pause and take a break, to give slaves a chance to breathe. At this moment Vi Jerry galloped angrily. Jack Daenerys' order is not arbitrary. This whole tribe is me trading you and Ogo. He is the leader himself. Everyone has to listen to him. But suddenly a cavalry holding a long war later fall Viori to the ground and asked Daenerys if he wanted to execute this lunatic or just cut off an ear. Give him a lesson. Denise hurried to stop. You've never seen your brother treated like that. I don't want my only family to get hurt. At this moment Vi Jerry's furious order to Jorah, killing these Dothraki hounds. I am your king. However Jorah ignored his words, and I made him walk and continue his journey. Then everyone finally got there. The headquarters of Dothraki. This is the city of the Horse King. They have no emotions, no fear. Next to it, completely submissive and loyal to the elder. Even if someone uses a knife, cut a piece of meat on their body, they're still not afraid. And it's the most powerful army in the world. It's also the most tragic slave. After Mother Dragon Daenerys came completely. At this time Vi Jerry complained of dragon fire. Burn the slave owner and all the captains of the city. Together 8,000 Angelites under his command. Now you have a new goal. Become the next slave. Junkai and Yunkai quickly learned. They quickly sent representatives to negotiate. Upon entering the angelic barracks, the nobles see BA dragons next to Daenerys, born of fear. That Ogo promised give him the army, then start talking. The Yunkai have a history older than the 7 kingdoms. A lot of powerful armies have they all died in the open. If you want to conquer this place, listening to the arrogance of the nobles right now, Daenerys took a piece of meat raw through forward. Now the 3 dragons are scrambling, made the nobles panic. But it hasn't been done yet. Daenerys now gives a warning. Maybe what you just said could lead to a bloody war in this place. In order to avoid disaster, the nobles hurriedly motioned for slaves to ocean gold for Daenerys and promised to send hundreds more ships to get you out of safe places of fear in their inner city. At this time Daenerys wondering and now he's in this tattered house. But when I saw the slaves kneeling on the ground, I decided for a moment to send a gift back. That's the life of all noble Junkai. If only they would free all the slaves in the city. If you refuse, there's nothing left to say. After hearing Daenerys say so, the nobles think you're crazy. Because you need to know that young Kayas, they are not as weak as other slaves. Built by a mixture of mud and they have allies, powerful forces. It's only a matter of time and before we destroy will also become a slave. I saw the dragon roar. This guy wanted to pee in his pants, so he swore to protect the deer. But your dragon just says no, because you're threatening their mother. Angry, the nobles decided to stop and the negotiations. All the everything in here smells of horse manure. As a result, Lord just one step scared the slaves back. Daenerys said you gave it to me. Listen to your words. Now the noble can only swallow his anger and that means the seven-way deal is dead. War is about to break out. And soon young Cersei alive. The Macedonian army besieged my sister has spoken enough. A total of 2,000 people, full of weapons and horses. Because the Angelite were the ones who attacked the city. Fighting will be expensive. There's no way. Try. Decided to negotiate with the leaders of the Macedonian team. But when we first met, the microphone is in the middle. Want to make you a Dothraki savage sound. Started cursing ironically. Daenerys completely despises everyone present. After hearing that aggressive behavior, started showing off his military power. She has 8,000 Angelites. You only have 2,000 cavalry. No matter how you fight, you can't win. In the meantime, wise leaders, they will choose to give up and make unnecessary sacrifices. Daenerys started to argue back. Meanwhile, but Mero laughed saying, he's been through countless battles. He's won a lot of games. Besides, I received money from you. Have to win this fight for them. Darius in Macedonia was also suspicious that Daenerys had no cavalry fleet. There was no weapon to attack Junkai. Seeing Daenerys just smiling. Because you didn't have an army 2 weeks ago. With that kind of personality. And a year ago your dragon didn't exist. But it's all there now. Mero does not want to negotiate. He wants to speak with power. Once the war is over, I'll come back for you after we win. After the Macedonian army chief Daenerys angry. Tell Ballis once the war breaks out, kill that arrogant man first. To be a good king. Besides, in the Macedonian barracks team, leaders must know they can't beat 8,000 Angelites. And decided to assassinate Mero decided by tossing the coin. I will perform this dangerous task. And so the Mero leader of Macedonia, the team will do. With a meaningful smile, while it's nearing afternoon. To hear that Aya doubting blame itself, disguised as an Angelite infiltrating, he put a knife in his Sunday's neck. Take off the mask at the same time. But surprise, now Darius threw out 2 heads in his sack. And that's his Mero leader. In fact, he was against orders not to assassinate Daenerys. He killed 2 Macedonian leaders in exchange. Then Darius wanted to swear allegiance to Domalde. 6 Jerry angry and slapped for her beauty and her makes you find a place to hide. Finally, with Domalde's approval, now Darius begins to swear. Macedonia belongs to your majesty. My heart also belongs to the next Then camp. At the main camp, Darius suggests a plan to attack Junkai. He knew the guards at the back gate. We can start to infiltrate from there. He wants to teach his sister. Bring along Daenerys to best men. It's Zoro and Ram. To kill soldiers in the city. Open the gates from the inside. Allow the Angelite to advance into the city, so Daenerys can easily occupy Junkai. Zoro began to think this is Darius' trap. After removing the generals of Daenerys, Master Junkai will pay Darius a lot of bonuses. Daenerys for the first time resist. And Donald doesn't have to split it between his dead boss, because he was killed. However, Darius will not betray my Daenerys. Finally, Darius agreed to the plan. Next to it, it was nearly midnight when Darius sneaked into the back gate. Signal for Joer and Ram. 2 men followed into the city. The gatekeeper was killed by Darius and beat back the Igeri. 3 people quickly prepared to open the gate. Suddenly a lot of soldiers came. And closure of 3 people. There's no way they can just fight it out. The sound of VA weapons touching attracted more soldiers. A long battle of attrition broke out. Now VA's lives are in serious danger. Meanwhile, on the other side, waited a long time without seeing the more you start to worry. Now my sister says I'm the Kayak of the Thraki. But at that moment, Joer showed up with a lot of Daenerys. All the slaves knew you would free the city. They all lay down their weapons. I hope the city is reformed, and the gates will open for you. Donaldi is finally safe. Suddenly I realized there was one missing. Darius also appeared, slowly walking towards Donaldi. I am General Ogo's wife, the flag of the Yunkai to speak. The city belongs to my queen. And so Diri captured Junkai City. It doesn't cost a soldier. Then the slaves open the gates. Go out to welcome the arrival of the dragon. Beside Daenerys, let dragons soar into the sky. I walk among a crowd of slaves, their hands up Daenerys, looking down from the perspective of God, carried his blood. Countless hands reaching up to the sky. And just in that moment, Yunkai, an ancient city enslaved liberated from oppression. Meanwhile, notice this girl was crucified living on 10 crosses. It's been days and nights. The body smells of decay. On the way to the next every slave. 500 meters. If you dare to hit me again. There's a boy or girl who dies on 10 counts. A total of 163 people. No, Daenerys hate the scene. I want the cavalry to go first. Put all the bodies down. But was stopped by Daenerys right away. Because you want to see for yourself. Every young face is gone. Let the army level this cruel city. Not long after, I'll cut off your hands. The army led by Daenerys has arrived. Now all the officials in the city are gathered, looking at Daenerys with contempt, because they know you're here to attack. Now the gate has opened. A knight riding out. He'll challenge Daenerys for the whole of Meereen. Side by side in the roar of the nobles, the knight jumped off the horse. Take off your pants, Pete towards the army of Daenerys. And the nobles laughed. Seems to be making fun of the angelic Daenerys castrated eunuch. At this point Daenerys seemed to feel great humiliation to counterattack strongly. Besides, you can only Darius came out and said to the Diri, you will carry the queen's honor. He is hubris revealed by Meereen, so that our warriors can fight better. Helpless Fiori doesn't know what to do. Now Donaldi wants Darius to ride. The chances of winning are probably greater. But Donald thinks horses are much clumsier than humans. And the fight officially begins. The opposite knight with a long spear ran towards Donaldi's army. Everyone in the city is watching right now. Some nobles even cheered for their knights. However, Darius did not. Now Daenerys also gradually realized. Wink signal with Diri draw the knight. Meanwhile, under the fast coming of the knight, I stabbed the horse in the knight fell to the ground in the dust. Darius quickly swung his all the nobles in the audience were stunned. In less than a second of combat, Darius easily defeated his opponent. Darius did the same, even if Dogo promised to give his brother take off your pants and answer every noble. Daenerys went to the slaves. Speak out loud to them. On the way to Meereen she saw it with her own eyes. 163 slaves died were crucified by the scary nobles. Expression on each child's face, still deep in you. And now you've led the army, free to an Arau into slavery, with his personality, if you don't want to. Under the exploitation of the nobles, I can totally save you. Then Diri order Uslin rolling out machine now kick countless open. Barrels of wood were flying towards the city side. People panicked at the sight, but the wooden case doesn't do any damage. It's not explosives inside, it's a chain, completely incapable of conducting combat. Now a slave holds up his shackles. It turns out that these are the chains of 163 children. Donaldi has decided to bury all the children at the camp, to incite slaves to revolt. Donaldi ordered Ram masquerade slave wearing bondage. Eke open the city gate. The slaves in the basement. We're talking about the daytime scene. The restoration of the family. Want to rebel. But to many people and all revolted. 7 pathetic defeats. Because the great nobles always win. Humble slaves have only death. Now Ram appears. Now you tell all the slaves, people in this world, even one day of freedom is better than a lifetime of slavery. You also came from slavery, the cruel torture of the owner. Relying only on Viori is still too far away. They were treated like dogs and tortured until the Dairy Queen appeared to free you. But now an old man says, meanwhile they haven't. I've been trained around no weapons. What to rebel against? Listen to the old man. Graham threw thousands of knives on the ground. He carried it in his bag and told everyone, so to check if I have. Now the shackle breaking tools are in your destiny is in your hands. Free to rebel. Not long after the dawn, to prevent Daenerys from entering, Nobles lead to patrolmen in the alley. I found a sign on the wall that said then the nobles looked up, seen at the top of the Marin headquarters. Meanwhile have hung their pen in Derry. Dragon blood in person or not. Soon countless slaves appeared. He surrounded the noble and stabbed him to death after the slave revolt was successful. They threw away their chains shouting Daenerys, thank her for bringing freedom. Save the lives of innocent people in the city. Daenerys got work to do. How many children they crucified along the way? 163 people. Your to reclaim the throne that belongs to the family. Daenerys ordered the elite to nail the nobles up price, to make them feel the horror of the children themselves. Here Daenerys say that now Bali stop because now the city has been liberated. No one needs to be punished, even though they're not righteous. He also deserves your forgiveness. But Daenerys did now you've made a bold you can't forget. The young faces are gone, determined to execute the nobles. So the Andalists started crucifying the nobles across Marin. Echoing the moans of pain, Daenerys is proud to stand at the top of the city. The Targaryen banner. Now she's got 2,000 more in her hand, with 8,000 Angelites to test if I have. You can now use Miran's ship to lead to attack the 7 kingdoms. But Jorah said if he wanted to reclaim the 10,000 is too few, and just got the news. Do Yunkai and Astaper no Antilist restraint? Now the nobles have taken back chained up the slaves, and they swore to kill Daenerys. So you have to stay. Dragon blood in person or not. I now realize that there is a serious problem. Daenerys decided not to cross the sea for the time being. Meanwhile, we must first destroy all the evil forces in these 6 regions. Until we free all the slaves. You have the strength and the foundation against the 7 kingdoms. So, Daenerys' ambition is now even greater. She puts a fossilized dragon egg on a hot oven. It's not just conquering the other 7 kingdoms and oppressive became the nightmare of the nobility. If you have the world's only 3 dragons, how will you train them? Next to it, young dragons have over a lot of space the violent to grow. Nature also gradually revealed, until the temperature of the dragon just in that hundreds of degrees. Daenerys knows that. Although via the dragon bloomed because she became the dragon mother. Children because they're not absolute obedience hounds. It's scary dragons. Besides to find food, the dragon began to attack the sheep looking the terrified at the dragon spewing out flames. Now Daenerys chooses to take a delicious roasted lamb and swoop down to catch one for lunch and spread my wings far away. And not long after, in the Miran Palace now the owner of the Daenerys now unpacked carry. It's a pile of burnt sheep bones, all the sheep that he kept. They were all burned alive by the dragon. In one day, the maid next to him to make up for the loss to the shepherd next door, Daenerys decided to compensate 3 times. The man was content to leave. And then, next the other people also brought the package. But this time it looks different until the man opened the veil. Everyone is changing their face because inside was the charred body of his own son. He tried to cover his face in a hurry to steal the dragon egg. Besides that, Donaldi looked extremely shocked. The man's son is only 3 years old. Have met such a tragic fate. Now Donaldi can't take it anymore. The mother of dragons, but can't manage to bring their own children. And until now, you haven't found the dragon yet, so that the young dragons would no longer harm the innocent. So now Daenerys made a heartbreaking decision. She decided to chain the other 2. His royal and dragon into the damp dungeon. Now she's forced to callously bind her children. The slaves. Let them all return to freedom. They have suffered as a queen. Meanwhile, bad things are happening because all the time. So she had to handlock the other 2 dragons. Daenerys' hands do not burn due to high temperatures. Watching my mother's shadow fade away. The 2 dragons began to grow, echoing everywhere in the dungeon. At the same time, Daenerys closed the prison with the mother's tears in her eyes. From now on, to dragons, he must be punished for his brother's mistakes by my own mother's hand. And in the following audiences, the maid's hands had turned purple from the burns. Donaldi really understands some slaves get used to chains. I will love that feeling. The slaves who were freed by Donaldi now ask you to sell them back because to the nobles. When you're free. But now they're completely disoriented. I can't feel the meaning of life. Maybe slavery is their fate now. The words of slaves. At this point Daenerys realized. Daenerys accepted that request, but no one knows right now over there where the sea is narrow. Prime Minister of Taiwan of the Seven Kingdoms had known that Daenerys get Angelite, and this is the last blood of the Targaryen family. He decided to use glassware. Because Jorah was a spy for the Seven Kingdoms, Daenerys' every action for them. But now he's betrayed, probably apart from his brother Viojuri. So Tyrion decided to reveal the true identity of Jorah. There was an internal conflict between them. Not long after, forgiveness has been sent and received by close guard. Read the contents of the letter. You're in shock right now. And Jorah was quickly summoned to the palace. He looked at Daenerys very helpless. You have real dragon blood in you. It's completely inexplicable. But before Daenerys' constant question, Jorah told the truth. He was a spy for the Seven Kingdoms. While first meeting Daenerys, I've started tracking her marriage to Khal Drogo and the death of his brother. Even Daenerys' it's all reported to the Seven Kingdoms. And it wasn't long before Daenerys got pregnant. That's why the kingdom constantly sends assassins now to eradicate the evil. Donaldi said you betrayed me from the beginning. Next to him, Sauer hurried to tell Donaldi that he swore in front of the mystery man, I'll never betray my queen again. Dear, please forgive me. You sold my secret to my according to local custom here, but I went to save you. I fought for you. Now you want to be forgiven. But I love you, dare to use that word in exchange for someone else. I executed him a long time ago. From here you will never touch me again. I will give you until tomorrow evening. Pack your bags and leave the city. I will give you until tomorrow evening. You have to choose small. Pack your bags and leave the city. I will give you until tomorrow evening. If I see you in Meereen the next day, I will command you to throw your hat into the Gulf of Slaves. That is. Jorah only has one way to ride out of Meereen, with helplessness and deep regret. The faithful servant who was with Daenerys, maybe it will no longer exist. Then Daenerys suffering to the top of the city and swallowed the heart of a horse. But found out Raw Dragon was behind her. As the dragon slowly approached, he could no longer see the queen. In my mother's dark eyes, Dragon flapped his wings and flew away. Never turned back to fly to the next faraway sky. They're one of the most feared insurgents. Tyrion gained gold robe, wearing a gold mask to hide his identity, claiming to be the son of H. Because Dothraki believe that's in very large quantities. It could be on par with the military. Angelians are not afraid of death and often gather together with fellow enemies to taste the fresh blood and the cry of sorrow. When I saw HP's mask, Daenerys felt the pressure. Because you know where the Meereen city you're running is. There has emerged a sinister force. The newborn child becomes beautiful and strong, so that people are no longer afraid. Ordered to find everything. Find the culprit behind it. And ask Angelic to step up. Didn't miss any clues. And the leader of the Second Army, Darius. Now, through rumors, Darius found when they got inside headquarters. They found out there's no eye there. Graham thinks it's safe. But the blood taste made Daenerys nauseous. I want to find somewhere else. But Darius told me. The immune C ounce it. Chin logi quin si white yosin TSD. Banungi quin HO ko kung quin cash DNN Chenge Salco Darius racked out the FT that law happy had trung within trong lasi. La het lan varayam na chong chi TMD de con dao GGM den for the revival of the whole family. Kong MT and Bang C happy. Salco Bay Gig Trong High Trong Alasine Darius Noi VVIM GG for TNT Non Hang G Fang GGC How to Hang He Rang Neil Yi Trong Ki Koki Quin and Gak Tin Rang Thuffum Cheek Chin Law Quarti C Muan Jion Le Quian Kim So Thenfa Betrak Zoot Donaldi Kike You try to swallow your heart Bagig HUCSU Angelit Hen Quiet Kset Na Ne and Gael PPT Donaldi and Dioli Kayan Salki MGI Giri Sai Alasine Bidet Henter Chak MT Domal Angting Fakti and Chovu Chava Home and C and Kochinkan SS Sai Troten Luon C Dilgi Kuk CNN Thine Kang Gitcom Kiter Chak MT Chamdi HO Kokain and Kang the Now Quin GGC under the eyes of everyone around her watching Chen Han Yong Ko G Kain Quan UDY Gian Nut U Diet C Dong H Tagger Dubalik Snoirai Chime Tamon Nitiki Ko Kwayan Luck Tuya GS Centerknan Vian Kanya Kai Ko the Kin Thon Cinema Tip Ko Balix Kain Denari Kang Bon XZX Kang Kiter Chak from them moment Near Ter Chak Kiki Uruf and quite Kui Come Hui come Daenerys ang Viogi Kine Si They Gig Team The Kang XD Tun Happy Nania Tunayan Hin Kiem Nam Tun Sai Quin and Dak Ji Kang Chuni Si Come Now in Fong Gia But Kang To Lon and Hong Lian XD How Pyri Nem Zakra Huan Fa Ki Hayton Elasine Denuri Vian Kung Ti Game Si and Kobe Di Gilam Trilon Daenerys is also recognized by the Down MDN Dethen Fa Vian Concourt Si Hang Sn Kan Bao Dig Koti Sawingui Vian Wytron Sao King Kamoko Alasine Daenerys Sumki Vian Elasine Tron Saigi Siegi Quinin Gak Daenerys Kum Laam Ti Chicken Chikang Jiong Chivitha De Geek Ingui Chin Law Your child will be the prince of the world. We come Daenerys Jiralon Cho Angela Kyoki Dan Ti Duraki Kanya The BD Chu Fian To Gig Si Vian Yu and Dan Bakwer Alasine Daenerys Hung Tran Ti Du Kang Olivia Song Kang the TNT Rian LS Git Gi Fiba Trung Tro Riralon Cho Kwon Lin Kieki Quin and Gaklan Make him I rules all countries in the world Chuan by XD Alasine Dan Thong DJ Ko Quin and Gat King Dai Cho VNSV and LGG Hang Daenerys Kang Kun Cash Naukak Trong Kiko Si Buok Feeder Nathi Jiko the Ben Huntret Teeth Amphami Alasine Daenerys Ra Hai Cho Darius Tin Land Jaitligi Del Kong Bausias Udin Si Kam Hong Witness this Pizori Diri Nam Tamra Loncho Darius T Chaihan Kemhu Gi Quinin Gak Vengay Sao Kokang Kini Kain Long Hang Alasine TTC and GIGN Non Daenerys TCC and Sini Jade 9 Kogi CM Hung Kanem Chung GIC CM Tang Hun Inu and Damba Quartia Si Lo Va Ra Tan Hun Nui CNT Angelit Sen Hanging Gang Esni He's not happy Non Chong Bo Via Daenerys Rak Lu Vela Sine Daenerys Non Bik Rang Han Yong Si Siki XD Hang H Ra Hyaning Ran Ki Kongi Hang Dry Lay Gig KC them. Hi Kang the BGC Raki then plenty cash. The Vian by Kung Thum Kang Leo Thang. They gig Happy Turk then LNMD and DTHU Giri. That kitsch because my favorite Tokyo is only my sister. You the VS Billion Juk Chung Non Chong Chimu the BXT KG Quan now Tron SN Bachong T Diet Hong Ton C and Kokre and Kong Hang Bahop Hai Tron Ton the Babwak Feachin H Law Bao had now Detoy. To 9 Do Few Quan Alasine Angelit Non Chong Bachun G. To 9 SV Gichit and Gay King Tom. Tronki Kobe A Lit Hang Tuntra. And you're just an outsider. Engthi Chun Be Yang Si Miran Van Lan. Angji Non Ra Ko Chai and Chung Lan. Non Chong Chi Via Theo Ram. Alasine Ram Ji Banu Nat Dao Kam Valgi. Behind the tone Bien Ben Lin Hu Ti Tran. They Gig Ben Then An Kum Kayat CCC Home Tone. Hang Gig Kacha Bitcha Kaicha. Alasiko Be Edit Zut Hyan. Lam Ji Fangcha Waihan M Chen. Lukun Tham Jachin So Chiu. To 9 DK Nan Kung Kan Si The Edit Arch Juk. Trong Kiko Happy Non Chong Si Nang The Edit Kung Lakam. Niu Natang Ji Bathong Nang. Kan the Chin Chiu GGC. Trong Tun the Nui CNP. Ram H of Tina The Kamchit K Juk Hui Edit The Anang Sai. Ben C and Ko and Pajuri decides to sneak out Daenerys. Look around the dead bodies in the hallway. Felix died because his wounds were drained. The death of a general. The injury of another general. Which makes Daenerys completely disoriented. It's like a complete collapse. This makes you wonder. My most loyal person. He will be killed by a coward in hiding. 2 ambushed generals die in an alley. Makes Daenerys very angry. Decide. Arrest all the great families of Myron. Then Daenerys led the nobles to the dungeon. Order the soldiers to use spears to propel the nobles culprit behind Pi. So Darius pushed a noble forward. Then the radio appeared. With the ambition to assemble an army that burned that noble with fire. And tore it in half. The nobles saw the horror. I pray for the mercy of the spared life. Not waiting for the fire to burn. But suddenly, Daenerys recalls the Eddard advice. He once told you, I should not be a tyrant like my father now. Attacking the throne alone. Daenerys forced to suppress decided rage. To spare the lives of the nobles. Dungeon. Tell the people they are. To make a permanent connection with the people she decided to restore the arena and tradition to Hicks' family. To strengthen her position as queen in Mirren. And destroy the evil power of Hobbit. You are a brave warrior now. But he was discovered by Zoro in time. He has fought countless battles. Swordsmanship skills, super martial arts. He was crowned by the kings of the Seven Kingdoms. The knights saw it. the last descendant of the Targaryen
walked
family,
into the donkeys
but was not consumed by the miracle. Jorah decided to stand in opposition to the kingdom. Absolutely loyal help her conquer the 7 kingdoms to claim the throne. He promised loyalty to both brothers. The Prime Minister of Taiwan soon discovered, and he used the cockroach strategy. Finally let Daenerys know. Joe was a spy for the 7 monitored Daenerys' every action. Angry Daenerys shouted, "Out Jorah out of the palace, and forbid you from ever stepping foot in Minzy again." Now Jorah deeply regrets and blames himself. But in fact he's always on Daenerys' side. In the meantime, to be able to see Daenerys again, he decided to join the arena in Exo, fight with the best warriors from all over, into the final. This time the Puno spoke to the nobles. Joe was a knight of the 7 kingdoms, killed Ogo's in a duel hand-to-hand blood guards. Who bought him? You'll make a lot of money in the arena. He had no choice. And so while people are constantly surprised, a noble paid to buy Jorah after the transaction is complete. The Syrian next door is not calm. I also want to be in the final to meet Daenerys, so the nobles by themselves. Syria tries to show strength, but the nobles refuse because you were too small. Oh. I see the power of Tyrion. 6 jury was forced to put the eggs down. The noble used the remaining gold to buy Tyrion. I hope you can create an atmosphere in the arena. And very quickly. The first match of the 2. It will take place in the small arena. The noble asked for his warrior. You have to focus mentally, because you don't know who's going to die, and survives and overcomes. You will have the opportunity to compete and walk away with a lump of anger in the final. Then Queen Daenerys of Mirren will see for herself. Jorah's belief in victory is even stronger. Then, the nobles chose the first group of fighters to start qualifying, but surprise! Daenerys was also there to watch the match. When I saw the queen appear, can't swallow. The nobles were surprised. He didn't expect it in all the qualifiers. The queen visited this place. The proud noble ordered the warrior to perform, bringing the queen's honor to battle. But the battle in the arena was brutal. Daenerys can't look straight at it. But as the CI queen who rules, you have to set an example and watch now the game. Through the gap, Jorah saw Next Daenerys came the party via Jerry got drunk very well that my queen doesn't Jorah like then holds a helmet and a weapon. Burst into the arena. Defeat the guards of the nobles and duels with other warriors. Do not use a knife to harm AI right now. The warriors in the room also looked outside. Jorah knocked out almost everyone in the yard. After defeating the last warrior, Jorah advised to stop coming here. I'm heading towards the dairy now. Cap warrior. See Jorah, who served faithfully by his side. Daenerys ordered the soldiers to chase you away. In front of me again. Now the Tyrion inside has broken the chain and stepped out. Joe went into the arena to see him. He was a descendant of the Lannister family. He said, "Get out the headquarters. The city now." Daenerys wanted to execute Tyrion immediately, because the Lannisters against the Targaryen house. The 7 kingdoms disintegrated. But Tyrion said, "Born in the Lannister family, you are the enemy of your own family. Your mother died giving birth to you. No one dared to touch a real dragon. Your father was also killed by you for betraying how to kill a family member." However, Daenerys did not understand. You will not forgive any intentions. Betrayed his Lannister family. After hearing Daenerys say that, Tyrion suddenly told a story many years ago. A little girl born in the middle of a storm. Assassins of the 7 kingdoms are immediately after Vi Jerry drew just the sword to kill the girl. The girl, who has no money. There's no land, no army, no shelter. I thought everything was about to end. But then Pion heard the back of the story. The girl who had nothing suddenly owned it all for a short time. Army, money, land, even be a dragon. And the main character in the story. It's Daenerys standing in front of you. Tyrion believes that. I understand the difficulties, and she's the only one who's ascended to save people from suffering. So, I came deliberately to serve you. No one knows the 7 kingdoms better than you. Daenerys was eventually persuaded by the Syrian. Yes, give me an advisor. Daenerys doesn't know what to do with Jorah. The Dothraki's camp is a sacred place. Syria is giving advice now. You admitted that Joel was a spy for the 7 kingdoms. Track all Daenerys' actions. But now, you're protecting Daenerys with your own life. Think about the previous betrayal. And your loyalty now. Jorah cannot be executed. But I can't Daenerys expelled Jorah from the palace for the second time. It cannot be violated. Force me to leave the city. After Joe walked out of the game. You are so miserable. Because no one knows right now. Your wrist is infected with scab. While fighting the Stone Man, the skin begins to harden. And there's no cure for this disease in the world. I hope the queen will forgive me before she dies. Now Jorah finds the noble. No one is allowed to bring weapons. I want to continue playing in the arena until the final. If you can fight in front of the queen, however the noble suspected Joe was free. Why did you choose to die a meaningless death? Must know that. The finalists are the strongest in the world, and there's only one survivor. But Zoro said, I just want to fight for my queen. However, the VI jury did not listen to the Daenerys' dissuasion. So after all the qualifiers, the top players in the world gathered to compete in the EXO, and under everyone's eyes the match began. Let's learn about this arena together. In hundreds of qualifiers, the soldiers tried to kill each other. Only one last survivor. You have the right to participate in the final. And he turns his sword to the child in his belly. And the winner will be crowned by the queen. It's written in the eyes of thousands of people. Meanwhile, Daenerys with heavy moves. Gently clap your hands, and the audience is now cheering. Two warriors duel with swords. They're both survivors. From the elimination rounds, a person with extraordinary power. One is fast. Meanwhile, hit the presumptuous you tell people that he spent half his life watching games in the arena. According to experience, great men will use their power to overcome their opponents. To victory. A second later, the little man was beheaded. Get the guess right, however, you don't want all people's lives to be a gamble. It's glorious to hold matches like this. Now, I married Chogo's sister. Suddenly, Daenerys heard a familiar voice. Looking down, she recognized Joah. The person who protected you is there. To get forgiveness from the queen. I did my best to get to the final. Daenerys declared the start of the match. But Donaldi knew once the game started, only one person can survive. But finally Donaldi heartless. In exchange for the army attacking the throne where he declared the match officially started. The battle between the two masters begins. The warrior with the axe attacked Zoro. In front of an absolutely overwhelming was quickly knocked to the ground. Power. Stand up and prepare to counterattack. But the opponent blows the sword. At this time, Joah took out the deck. While struggling between the two, Joah quickly kicks the opponent in the knee. The gold crown is worth it. I stabbed the warrior in the chest, and finally killed him. Now the audience is roaring. After killing the opponent, the other swordsman attacked Zoro. But his sword is special, and extremely edgy. Less than 10 seconds of fighting. Joe has been injured 3 times. At the right time. The next knight killed 2 of his opponents. Until now. Pushed the match to the climax. There were only 3 people in the yard. However, Joah is now over 50 years old. It's hard to beat an opponent in speed time. While the opponent is like a mighty assassin, it's time to prepare for the final blow. Kill him. Kill him. Now Joah is lying motionless on the ground. Hasn't led I tried to see Denise one last time. Prepare to end your glory. But just in time, the swordsman swung his sword. The knight stabbed him in the back, killed him, and Zoro hurriedly picked up the sword. There are only 2 of them in the arena. They start killing each other with their last bit of power. When everyone thought the knights would win, Saura immediately flipped over, stabbed straight at the opponent to win. Now I can only decide to get my sister back. But the audience is all the same. I object to the recent results. They seem to have 7 hopes, and at the same time, Joe realized something was wrong. Grabbed the lance quickly, threw at Daenerys, an assassin who was preparing to act at the time. And now many more assassins have appeared. They're all wearing gold masks to reach They're out. The happy rebels in Miran right now. People of Army H. And disemboweled this kid, and through Chiroko, he started to slaughter a series of nobles and Daenerys Angelites now. It seems like this is the plan that was made before. The situation quickly became chaotic. People are panicking and running away. Ito was also stabbed several times to the ground, and I hear Joe appeared in time. Tell Daenerys to hold my hand close. With the support of the angels, he quickly protected the retreating queen. However, the large gate was quickly locked. The number of happy people is increasing. There's no way. They can only find another way out. But suddenly, happy people appear around from start attacking. Surrounded the Daenerys army in the center of the field. Darius thought he might be reunited with facing his grandparents. Too many enemies at the same time. Rogo agreed to keep his promise. Now their win rate is almost 0. Now they try to attack. The elite army can only fight back. And then more and more enemies get closer to them. Approach. And the queen knows there's no hope. In this moment, she clasped Miss Sunday's hand. Accept death calmly. Then close your eyes. He immediately gave him a gold crown. But soon after, the dragon's angry voice echoed loudly. And everybody's heading in the same direction. Next second, dragon body. Fly into where the arena is raging. Turn the situation around in the blink of an eye. Dragon landed on the ground and looked at his mother. And bite the dead happy is rushing. Flame retardant. It is so beautiful that people are terrified. The enemy continues to flatten the battlefield. A cry. Carpet echoed through the arena. Now the happy man throws the lances. Stabbed into the dragon. Daenerys rush forward. Prepare to pluck the lance out of the dragon. Your mouth smells of blood. Donaldi now wants to touch G.I. Jerry wanted but unexpectedly, but injured another lance. There's no choice. Now Daenerys doing something he's never done before. You have to tame your dragon. Daenerys decided to climb on the back of the dragon. I ordered it to fly. When the dragon listened to my mother, dragon flies by. People quickly move forward. And that's when Daenerys first rode on a flying dragon. Ogo ordered his arm to be broken. Fly freely in the sky. In the eyes of the Syrians, you leave this place. And then when the Hoppy case died down, Daenerys hasn't returned to Meereen yet. But people don't know where else. Daenerys hundreds of miles away from Meereen, so badly injured that he couldn't fly. Daenerys can only move forward on her own, but did not expect. In the painful groans of Viori, at this time she encountered the great migration of the Dothraki. Recognized the critical situation. Daenerys hurriedly threw the ring down. Let Jor find the trace. Right after that, the Dothraki surrounded Queen Daenerys. They want to offer you as a wife to their leader, Be his wife. And not long after, next door Sour found the ring Daenerys left behind. Ogo stood up and took off his yellow belt. The Dokyaki's horseshoe Tor felt very insecure. Because with their current military strength, you can't bring your army against the Dothraki. There's no way. The people can only risk their lives. Continue towards the main barracks of the Dothraki to rescue Daenerys. In the meantime, even if you're hit by a roar, thrown into the iron pot when the metal begins to melt, the pain doesn't last more than 5 seconds while the cavalry Dokyaki, not just beating Daenerys, and they even swear profusely, because they've always assumed that women very afraid of high temperatures. You can't stay in the sun too long, or I will burn to death, but no one knows. The woman in front of the Daki. In the terror and heartbreak of the spent the whole night burning in a fire, but it didn't burn her to death. And Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons. It was not long before the army arrived at Daki's main to praise their leader. Daenerys was Khon Moro, however, before the chief said anything. His two wives were jealous of Daenerys' beauty. He advised her husband to cut off her head, because the woman with blue eyes no longer attached to his brother. They're all good witches who use magic to harm people. Moro is just laughing right now. And said he wouldn't kill the habit of pulling her shirt down, but was strongly resisted by Daenerys. And the queen yelled out in She's Daenerys Stoneman of the Targaryen family, who freed the slaves. The queen of Meereen, the rightful successor of the Seven Kingdoms. This is the crown for the king. Who dares to touch me now? I'll cut off his hand. But after Daenerys' statement, only got back their crazy laughter. Because in this place, you're just an anonymous person. Loves the character I decided to be with you tonight. But when Daenerys talks about her husband being Rogo, now Moro soundly respects Daenerys. Fell on Vi's head. Jerry began to eat his flesh. Because the widow of Akon couldn't touch. Now Moro hurry and tie Cho Daenerys. I promise I won't hurt you again. But when Daenerys thought he could go back to Meereen, the widow of Akon, you can only go to one place. Is the Dothraki siege. She lives with other widows for the rest of my life. In a scream of terrible pain. To hear these words for the Diri to say, this is a really bad thing. And many years later, this is Daenerys' second visit to Dothraki. But you still don't give up. Ci's ambition to rule the Seven Kingdoms. You can't live here for nothing. At this time an old Khan widow advised Daenerys thoughts. And Daenerys violated the customs of the Dothraki. 6 jury fell to the ground. After Khon Rogo's death, she didn't come back here. I went somewhere else I shouldn't have gone. So, tonight all the Khan will gather at the Dothraki to discuss proper handling of Daenerys' previous actions. And now no one knows your fate after listening to the old woman. But now Daenerys is not afraid. Even a great idea what happened with his own eyes. And it wasn't now summoned Daenerys to judge her in the temple. At this moment a Khan spoke. Besides some sand aristocrats, they're willing to trade 1,000 to get Daenerys' head is worth it. And another Khan agreed. Before the dairy. Let me serve him one night. Maybe she live a little longer. And the one with real dragon right now. Daenerys heard the profanities of the Khan. She spoke softly to them. You can't believe that all the great Khans gather with a total of 100,000 troops. But every day we talk about plundering villages. How many girls to sleep with? How many horses? In the eyes of the queen, in addition to husband ambitions, will not be afraid of any not worthy to lead the Dothraki. Moro began to make fun of Ogo because his promise is like dog shit. Listen to what Moro says at this moment. Daenerys replied arrogantly, conquer the 7 kingdoms. This made all the Khans laugh arrogantly. Moro announces Daenerys' execution. That would be death. Immediately it's even clearer than your brother didn't. They want to lead strong Dothraki. This is a fantasy. However, Daenerys was silent. Slowly put your hands faces on the hot suddenly changed in shock. You will not serve me. You're going to die. And suddenly the fire shoot out to the floor. The Khan's panic continued. Daenerys turns pushing pouring the oven tray. So from here, the fire broke out across sorrow echoed everywhere. Moro is desperately trying to open the door, but they didn't know the door was locked from the outside. Zoro and Darius ambushed them and coldly watched and knocked out the last oven. And the fire's going forward. Moro burned to death in terror. All the Khans were burned alive. The last surviving member of the Targaryen fire from the temple attract the attention of surrounding. Now they're all gathered around the fire. No one knows what happened inside. Then the old woman looked forward with astonishment. In a sea of fire, there's a silver-haired woman step out of the fire barefoot. That's Daenerys on trial. The Dothraki witnessed the miracle. There's only Daenerys left. On my knees. Kong kikne. Tenvian di ton mt chinkan ssg on home tone but in fact uid fan king basau hitrgi sang. Alasi ne Daenerys jing but hilarious in game. Bun bizam si jor and gay canter tron. And kai kang the tip to I see fang ssc. And quite hun knt leave in the nemcha. In the meantime, to complete the family's renaissance, Terchak Keben Leyland Capsida. Hang Daenerys Jade and get Bojor Dunglay. Borolan Cho and Havivit Cash and Home. And Fitin Tm Rothuk Chuaban VNPC Chin Fact GGC 7 One V Jor Wyban C and M Chen. The Law TK. Jor Mang Theonium Tin and Home Traucho Lit. Aplan Hyven San MD. Retine Daenerys Kung Ten V and Quan. Daenerys wants her husband Rogo conquer the 7 Kibe Dotheract. Kalo Quite Hun Silam. Tron Quoc GGIC Kukthon Dothraki. Quan GCH Koting Kong Tenvian Gate. Kang Fabiak TC Thenchen Now Kung Diab Dang. Kini Thon Hun T Napi Trung Leji Kung Daenerys Kodong Mauraniang. Vachuan Vix TC. Nung Thon Kangang. And their soon to be born son will ascend to the throne. Tine Kang Dan Cho Chin Bunage. Daenerys Chumrai J Te Lan Lo Le Nong Dian Kylo. Anglai Bang Fat Di Do Trong Hum Kupthon Kang Thok Ki Kai Chit Trong By Hang LSK Lofian Toazet X Join on CH Hang Kui Kum Le Turk Then Ni Tip Tiuko TTC Gi Dothraki Benangoi Hun Fanalgo however refused Daenerys' offer. BGC Ravivia Go Chen Turn Dia Kotin. Efen BGC Rati Kam Chele Koles Halo YGC GCC by Ben Choki Fen Ne. Kung DVICCC and Dia V10 V and Quan Dothraki Trong MTK. G then King Koot Fak D Tui Trong Daenerys. GVVI Nun Gido Haraki Does you think a child just needs a big horse? HIO can NDC. Dian Chahan Ki Wong Kwandi Chayan GGC and Tikwa. Daenerys Cho Gagiguri CCI and Lao Shao. Alasi Na Ting Jun Si Rainiang MGI Ki Kan Hong Ang Non Lan Beatrix Kun LS Bay and Gankwe Kind TTC and Gahung Wood. Loi Rainiang. Strong can run and jump free. Chang hang around 5 gig kg senlay. Alasi ne raining dragon h Daenerys and ting noi vvi. Theo trine thun si gi dong kwanji sen chun ba chin bin mdn. Lam cn and via mao chen denying dairy for v trine c1 ttc and gi gi hu dirk 1001 d and Kupti ko sna and sanction fact 7 in the land of the Jotiaki. Kang. Kupti ko sna and sang Theota Kang. T gig dirk sai. Chohan my. The law. Daenerys. Ji hon ton chin fact tri tim and gia gi dotharaki. Denying si kang h bit cash go hang cd chorang. Daenerys ji but gi dotharaki xd is enough. For the 6th from hype GCC whole be quite hun hem quan t and kang mirin. And gale pp2ic hang and gen chin el memle jt balthenfo. Fahayim gi the ko ymgi ni. Koyan non cham bao tram si chin tran entra kapni. Alasi ne Syrian ra lon tan chi siang fong the venbai. G tran hen mtd then from marin. Hang duin goi job listening to her husband Daenerys mood is very complicated. Raim kang content town ang tani. Quite hum kong nun chin bin conlay. Why lay bin trong thenfo. Teachin vvia k juk sppt. Jate 9 mgi gmv ting bgc cmd kia sene and sanction mt chin bin gc kbgc ra. Renons policy na ttc bin ss kujung j. Buggy bgc vouchin law Daenerys. Meanwhile Sour constantly advises Daenerys. CCC Iranian Turk via Mayor interchat. PP thenfa batan fanangan. BSS 7B Trong Ingo Jo C series. Alasi na Daenerys Gindi Vien Kong. Kang the Dine Teen and Then Li. Kang Lao South of Indian Teen Now Lane. Tanayin Cup Quartia Sika. Archdeacon Mayat Vien Kang Rak Kwandi Daenerys Concept. Bichum Meiji Chik Daenerys and featuring Gion SSCI Tro C. Taking the throne is not easy. Alasi na mt Quartia Rang Mchen Archd How Fong. Kiroi Chio Kayan Jisian and Daenerys Ben Hit Masi Factor Chakko. Bugitchet CB Coalesce Cup Quartia Sika SNV Ban Tian Kang Then from Marin. Tanayin Cup Quartia Si Kang Bit. Alas do Daenerys T Kam Fan. It is easy to know that the total forces of the 7 kingdoms hang num GCP. Law SQ and Go Van Gumli CVI Daenerys. They give Quad Cam Fenji Home Tone 7 GM DC Lulu Rainian Cup Quartia Si Kang and Rang Chatrong Bong Vian Chiam. Nelm Con Rainian. Con C Daenerys G Trom Dragon Hangi Gm that beyond your imagination. Dia Quartia Si Unesti Tachi. Dragon H Kimben C Chiji Lon C and D. Alasi na Daenerys Quite Hunty and Chin C C Kanti Thuk Kwok Chin. They Gig C Rong on Dragon Bay Rabayan. To Con Rainian Con Lathium the Con Bay Lan the OSS True Hio Con Lan Beatridi. Alasi na Kuk and Elvian Chuan but Hang Kang on Daenerys. Let's say they have advanced defensive OMTAG Game Delay Rainian. Angle Rainian MD and M. Nangi Con Lay Home Tone SB Trong King Kine. Quan Fan Luinder Chak CCing Then Rika Tan Set Den Chop 10 Vien Cuban Dothraki Dudarius DNH Quan Fan Luin. Nanthi Quan M Chen Tanara. Cup Quartia Si Van Den M. Even if Ogo agrees. Alasi na Creo Rakdao Chajile MTTC. Tiriel Tin Len Bo Edita. Kiviath Then Fran Ellen Gay. Noicho Cup Quartia Si Bit Nung GG Zoro UH Ko BFTKY Hunzo Now VVM V Loss Out Chin Bing C. Bagi Bomb Quick Tron USD Dom Vegetia C. Teal. They will also taste 7 miserable defeats. TB and 7 V Bomb Quick G Guai Sac CMP Kung Tao Thai and Hatan Kwang GC GT and King Cup V Bomb Quick Kong C Chim Lai Gai Bang C JTIC. Kung VVI Assassin Hisia SB. Sao Mu and Chiam. Daenerys Kui Kong Le BGC Lan Con Huing Kong Hanging and Con Tao Ten Vien Quan Bin Zut Fat. The Ba Con Rainian Neji Unless the world really has dragons to help. Chuan Ba Tin Thumb Bao Kingland. Trong Tam C7 B Bon. Trong Kiko Via Vu MGIC Kinglanding Ses. Ba Ta Hang and Chiam Quang Gai Bang. Nanthi K the T Via Hangton TGN. Hang Ba Vien T Tin M Chen Ko the Chin Nung Jatia C Bukut Jeffin Chen Bam T Cash the Imchai. Tiki Sergi Len Gang Event Chim just your family's let Kwok Chin Jia to an home strong game op tongue SBP Bang Inch. But Gi Chin Think Chako the Ko Cha Bao Gig Ti Rang Trong Game op tire. Lane H U Tian. Ko Kwok Chin Tran Jion Gai Vang Jia to an home. Kwok Chin Sin T G SBT Varani K Kung BTHU. Hein Gig Daenerys GD and 10 Vien Quan Bin. The Ba Con Rainiang Trong Thang. Right now. Teeth and Famiring di Chine Hene Chuan Batian Kang Trung Tam C7 B Bonquak Fixe Fin Hengi Boban C and Co Diary Con Co Assess Huthan Arch TBA B Bonquak Kunhusd Don Vegetia Ctl Bay Gig HSNT Nathi of Kwanji Vayan Vowla Sine Kane a wine merchant sees the appearance of Diri and Hong Sergi Hang Y V Bonquak Kin Landing G the Rang Ba V Bonquak Fan Boaba Asen Chathi Me Chai Di Bon Han Asen the Kain Lida Kan Lao Sauki Kuni Chio Estiva Don Chuan Bakwan Ala Si Naam TG Tau Chin Kun Ala Si Nanthi La Sisi Hayusi Kuni Chio Esti Hang Thien Vayara Bidarki Ko La Tau Chin Si Choi Chora I want to give you a barrel of red wine Hang Dien Kwanji Kuni Chio Hung Via Via Ba She Hem Hang Turam Chin Fine Hen Trung Fat Hang Con Cash Naukik MGI Gi Chako the Ning Chin Wa Ji Rang Git Chok Kang Tong Ti Don Git to Konde Si Thong The Hem Triu Tran a Main Tao Sao Ki Yar Namthi But no one knows that TIC Gin Sai Tin Tiem Chem Chin Goy Mayang Sao Coaches Show Zoram T Tran Tang Tan Tron Tran Chin Kiklai Ne GHU VVIR and Vien Kong Hong Tan Kui Kong Yar Vien 7 Beater Chak They Gig Liam Chako the Turn MT Non Shigay Haijin by and Trum the Law Fennel and Tao Chinning Ha Daenerys Hubad Yu Dai Tien Kang MD and MC Aaron in the poison wine Tang Hung Vivio Viak Tu Dai Tuan Chi and Washe Kivia Kinglanding Jia Ting Rio Hoang Hasi Dan Chang Aaron CCI and Gov Ao Kang Yang Dang Thon Dan Cho and Hong She Sao Ki Non the Viev Kan Mai Sesi Ji Quite Hun Tu Dai Batuyan the Ender Chak Kuk Ji Fine Ko Dan HMG Realizing the unusual Joer was in time to arrive NMC of Bonquak Ji Chum Le Quan Ji Si Daenerys T Non Salko Why Theo Bin Kia Daenerys Haitan and Min Jian No But Hu Dai at Home Tone CTIC Gimdi Doi Duquesne Hoch Vahim Kinglanding C Bakuni Chiu ST7B Gig KC Chako the Chajiji Quan Angel Order the trader to open the lid of the wine barrel Ji Quan MDN Tran Can Lao Sex Side Ji Quan Angel at him Casterly Rock Nakain Hoch Ji Du Tin Ji Tin Quan Bao Luk Leung MDN Tran BNC Sex Keithy Quan Ji Si Daenerys Chiang Fen GSNE and Saint Cho SG Quan Angels XC glass of wine Hang Turam Tom Kati Tran Ti Chiang Reno Ji Vao Gi CG Ji Quan Angela Ben C and K Chuk Ji VVI Fetian Kang Hong Tone Tyrion Ben Ji Victor Chak UC Casterly Rock Kola MT Hewing Hum by MT DGIH Thumb Kun MC Na Krayam Chahai Quan Land Maxim HP Fenti Bentrong I smell with my nose Ditchit Lin Kanba Musisi and Vale Ji Quan Angelic GT Tran Val BD Chu Jochin Trok Tipibin Jen HE Kang Kon Hum Johan Ki Ko MT Ben Bahambi Hong Tom Zakchit Gig K Fh Ki and Tran PPQIC Non Zung Quan Batam Trang CM the Archd See the expression of suspicious traders V Quan Lannister Kang the Henvi Johan Ki Ram Non Ra BD by an Nam Chi Tel CN G Blachim GC Aaron Tu Dai Home Rang Law Tone VNG Quan Angelic by Quan Lannister Howie Fin Con Le Si Quan Lannister Sai DGISS Jahai CJ Kungkus TIC Trong Then VVIXC Chuan Batian Kang Kwik Jafin Luan Joe gave him a drink. Kui Kung Tic Tilfi Quan Jikyo Alajil Bit 7 BG Kautram Terchak CCCMD and CG Quan Hung Tic Peel Non Chong Gianthi 7 Kui Kung James Teen TMG Benoy Viodba Ji Quan Angelic Gig G but Kautram Gig K Warrant You Diet Both and Home Tone King Kolang Fuck Chako the Chugoi C There's no way the merchant pretended to pick up his glass of faction Liu CC Sung Chenru GC Mati Sat Rasai MY Lannister Thur Hatiti CCC Jatic Teal Kung Lang Thup Tromko Them Kai Si Mo Man Si Kung Hang Hun Bien Quay UCS Uther Hocha Tran Name Jatic Lannister Geon Chin Thing Alisi Ne Wyatt Chiu Rainian Daenerys everyone out behind Chu Trakon Chin Lun CC Syria Ji Kain Shay Hembi Home Tone Dig KG Quan Angela Bave Y Caster The Kuk and Chi Sing Hasitha Buzzo C2 Kang Cho Thepe Chai Nazo Radm Chene Charo Kian Rainian Quan Ko Kong Si Sergi Fian Memio Vange Salko Tromki Quan Lannister Vian Hanther Gom Luem but was caught by guards using skin Gi Thay GSCCMT. Ben Si and Kohnp Ting Boing Gati Jang Sha. The Kang Ficha and James Hoon Hot Rolong Bin Chuan Bachin Chi. Kan Lao Sao Titi. Si Huak City Than Hang
Ting
Fai.
Boin Ga Kang Lasi Kangton Jin
Chin
Ha.
Law Cuban Dokyaki DGI Trong
HCM
Diri.
Dao Kong Lao Ti Tran
Tie him
Hinging
to a
Ga.
pole. Chum Toko the Chan GGC.
Enge Sao Ko Ting Di Jin
Policy
Di
ne
Di
Denner
Rain
CCI
Yin
Dragon
Dragon
and
Chin
Lay Rain
Ang
Yin.
Lay Rain Yin Non Chom Quet Ten Quan Lannister.
Ting Bin SS but the Che
Re
Ting
Dragon
Dragon
Fun
Fun
Lay
Lay
GD
GD
Luan
Luan
Di
Come
Ji
Cho
Ther
King
Holanding.
Hufi JDCC Chesen. Trom Kiko Cuban Dokyaki
But the wrong
VIT
person
Quay
poisons
the back. Diem Quazak Chitsung Dia Fiu Quan
Trench and
Lannister
DGI
SS High C Daenerys. Lane Ne Bang Inch Home Tone. Turchak SS Chan Lak Kwai Lan. Quan Lannister Tan Rai Home Tone. MDSB Come the DGI SS High C
Nim
James.
Dao
Bia Traditian Kang. Hang Huba VC Seeing Seogan Chan Lei. Ting Trine U Tran M Scene Hang James Dian Chibit Non Cambin SS. The new king of the Seven Kingdoms, Robert theme thong. Zach Che and Bei Ti Tung Ki Jo Fasine Bron Ben Trung M T Cuban Dun Sha Tip Ti Sile Gain Kung. All PPMT Mu Tun Thep SCC Na. Undung Bia Ki Diet Rainy and Giga Con Rain 2. Kia Bei Gig Bron Hang
So
Them
Ki
Bia
Dragon
Ki
to
No
strengthen
GC
their
Mu
position.
Tane Chu Tiao. And Ta Lei Bua Vang Chu and Bubban Lane 2. Non Ra Mu I Ki Wadiri Lin Bei Bia Ki Dragon Fun Englai. MT Mu Tun Beira. Kem Thung Valkan Sea Dragon. Kauhan Kai No Lao Jung Jade. Ron Town M Chang
Hanging
Gan
Gen
Kang.
Kang.
No
No
Jade
Jade
and Get
Reshare.
Dung Lei Tran Kang. Refund them Englai. He decided the wrong person
Theory
killed
Home
Deer.
Tone CZ Kung
Alasine Daenerys
Unrang
Borvang
Haijun
Haijun
Kilan
Kilan Dragon. Alasine James the Daenerys King GGC
Non Chong
in
and
GMC High. Lian Siam Say Thong Tren and TJ. Fian Gati Nam Na Bay. Jade Nyan Dragon Ki Chu Lei. Bafun Lei Via Theater Chak Ron Cup GT. Kung James Haijun Seng The last blood of the Tagaran family. May Mdn Thot and Trenching Alasine Orion Non Hum Tra Ten Tren and TJ. Long Tra Dang Siam ZFC. Trong Ki Cup in SS Lannister Babiti. Ukujun Jake Tuyen the Kwai. Only the Taylor family chose to be
And
loyal
they
to
betrayed
Cersei.
the
Appeals. Daenerys decided to execute
Finally.
Order Dragon to burn the Taylor
And
father and
Daenerys
son
will
never
alive.
be quiet. So Daenerys won big. And balanced the fight with Cersei. However, at the same time, north of the wall,
Queens fought
there are
most
worse
remote.
enemies here than countless. The immortal undead. We're heading towards the center of the Seven Kingdoms. And the King of the Night is in charge. They've been building armies for 8,000 years. Prepare to attack the human race until you die. Accidentally into the flash dragon rat spell. In the midst of his cry of pain, pupils gradually turn blue. Then the immortal Night King, the most powerful creature on Earth, that scare people, give the dead life, and turn them into mindless zombies. Wherever the King of the Night goes, the assassination plot will not stop. It's become a cold winter. And in time, both Queen Daenerys for the throne. Jon Snow is north of the wall, leading the fight against the undead the army of the undead. To realize the survival of humanity, Jon rushed to Dragon Island to I demand that you immediately send reinforcements to the wall against the invasion of the undead. This time after hearing the news However, furious. Daenerys doesn't believe in the legend of the Night King. That. It's just a child scare story. Until she saw the other paintings on the cliffs in a cave on Dragon Island of years ago by the fairies. Now Deary knows that before there were 7 kingdoms, there's a record of humans fighting the undead. Decided to challenge the 7 army of the undead is under stronger than ever, and he'll only need a few months to lead the undead and the cold to destroy human civilization. Kill every living thing right now. Daenerys just realized the seriousness
How many
people
of the problem
do we need for this
I hope
campaign.
you will
join us. And he'll lead his army across the sea and leave the throne to Choa Sisei. But Daenerys is very clear. When fighting the King of the Night, the force to be consumed is your army. And with Asia Sisei, the power to strengthen the throne will be now much greater. Has a plan. It's possible to catch a zombie from bring out their true sexy appearance. Make all the warriors kill stop all the eternal soldiers. Uniting to protect the homeland so of Jon mankind. Assembled all the strongest warriors. And Joel was cured of scabby form with a heavy mood. Let's go to the frozen land of the Night King. However, not long after, they saw a polar bear turn into a zombie, even though it's covered in flames. But the bear doesn't feel any pain. They destroyed all their stone houses. People only know how to fight hard. After sacrificing many warriors, finally Jor stabbed the bear with dragon glass. Then people didn't have time to rest. With the fatigue of continuing north, suddenly Jon felt uneasy. I ordered a retreat right behind. And the next moment, the army of the undead pours at them like the tide. Help Fury get back the throne. Where let the ice crumble, they don't stop. Keep moving forward. In the end, Jon and everyone were stuck in the middle of the enemy. Meanwhile, on Dragon Island, the Syrians did not stop Jon. Daenerys didn't go to the rescue. Your actions will pay dearly. Not long after Daenerys rode the dragon to the frozen land, the three dragons started turning a fire that turned into a hot all the undead are waiting to be killed. The undead captain is the king of the night. In this moment, holding a long lance, hurled up into the sky at lightning speed. The next second crashed into the dragon. Between the touch of blood and the donkey, the dragon rushed to the ground and slowly closed his eyes. Under the ice. Swear before the mother of the mountain to the stars it's impossible to comfort the Night King has not given up. Ready to throw the second lance. Because of the situation, I'm going to force Daenerys to leave here not with long after. Dragon pulled up by the undead with iron chains, and the Night King turned it into an ice dragon to destroy the undead wall for thousands of years. The feeling of pouring molten metal on people's heads in exchange for the dead. Daenerys had to sacrifice a dragon to bring Ra to negotiate with Cersei's army and Dothraki cavalry pulled to the bottom of the city. If the queen is injured in the negotiations, the army will level the city today. It was not long before the two sides met before they asked Daenerys out. But Cersei did. What is it like? Because you can't because he ordered the military to stop. Otherwise, it's no different than crazy. Hanging Gale Esiko Sando Buram Tikai Han Dian Valko. Lan King Yong Khan Zak San Bin Trong. No Bayra VVI Ting Di Jim Jilal T Sexy. Resando Linole and Gale PP2IC. MGI Di Chinkin Hu Vian Kong Hu Nesty. Hanging MT Tryon Thai Ting. This ran through the gold belt into the iron laid at SSTNT. The Zak San Kangchat Diba Kam Baunan LSE Ne Jom Lan Ting Noi VVIMGI Hoik Law 3 Tim Soko Jom Li Noi VVIMGI Gian SS San Kong Gian LSE Kong Now Hup CCC Lay Gian Kang Ea Bit Kwan Won Zak Sen Ko Baunu Bazak Chit Kang Kit Kang Niu Bundled by melting metal. Dam Hyven to an home Gaklay Chin Tran Kanti Chumlay SS Exim Line C Zak Non Thick GGC VNG Sesi Kui Kong Han YUCSU CSNC James DNG Quan Lannister and Navi Kwok Thong Leung Gia to Ben K but James Chuan Batria Teen AP Quandered Ju Pang but Shaky now laying race UIC Vid MCC Jich Kaksi Daenerys Ko CC Code Hang BA HIO Ne Ching Tu Rainier K Sergi Hem Wi-Fi Cho Daenerys Chalal Yinoi Dijai Hen Lu Kwana Jicho Kwan Mayan Biasio Zak San Hem Kwan Ti Dao and fell on VI Jerry's head to 9 NC Say Noi Nung Leaf and Bois James GTIC Gi C and Kwok Chin Gia San Vachit GVID Sha Tren Jion Kwai and Lun New Bay Gig Su Se King Chui Chao Thurn Hessen TM Chen Dian Kwan Lan Ko the BNMC CTC TG Noi Kang Ae Ko the BNMC CTC EVIT Cash T Lam Kwan GC The sound of barbecue makes people shiver. Kung James Quite Julie the Size U Vine and Non Ben Kingland and Diam Retoit Lane James Dian Non Ram Wahan Zai Fang Via CVVISS Kwan Zak San Yin Chong VIT Quay BFC Jiang HU Kwan Zak San DGISS Shahai CA Vukiam 10 AP Sat Winterful CA Bongo Kwan BNHNB and Trikang Jury died in fear. Sao Hun 8.00 and Chiam. Kui Kung Chung Tin Via Theater Chak. DGISS Jahai CA Vukia. VB of CT Ching Tin Han Windrel. Then Pachon Tuyan the VNSB Zak Sang GT Napi Trum Lay Nime. Hungit CC Jim Jihon then MPC CHU Kwan Zak Sang Chiu Rain Hayton Ice Glaring at the Norris CHU Kwan Zak Sang. Non Chong Haiyan MGL Lukuyun Koda. In Mayan VSCG Kung Bo Viet Then Vian Chiu Kwan Zak Sen SN Hun Then Patine. MGI Kang GGC Dung Chan. Siege TIC Mayan VSC BCSU Tone Dan Hulan and Goi Trifan Nung Kan Le Filan Chin Trong. UI Tran Chin Ne. Yan Kwanti SS Sen Kan CC Nam Lui. Tanayan LSC Ne Y Citro 7 Gen DM Sexy. G Kang Haiyan MT Bin SS Enter Juke Mayan VSC. UIC Nguyen Chin Kim. Tone Bien Quan GC Diri 7 Gi Hem Quan Lan Diet Nun Zak Sen Con Lay. The Arch T Non Chom Kiam Ting Van Lan Y Winter Fail Mine. The last blood of the Targaryen family. MGI D Hu Bid Hio Quan Zak Sen Alayan Log Gi San Vakiachin Trok Tian. Baji Quan Angelic SPPXC BG Hun Rocky DGISS Jahai Sin Hen Jate Tien King Ichu Tian. Anglais Soy Sang Kim Team at Tonight to Choi GMT Fat Dokia Gian No Bud Hu Diet Home Tone. Tip Sauko VNSB Zak Sang DGM Fat. Only you are left. Alti Winter Fail DNM Hang Shokan DC Hai Vung Via Kichin Chung Genie DG Hang Fong Kai Chu Chon DG DSC Fiasa. Hum SDUCSU Musisi Trong AMT. Hang Lu Quan Ji Wa Vauban Trong Then Ji Fong Da. Ji Quan Angel at C Daenerys Hung Theater Chak Ji Bovia. Tip TIC Chung GCC The Secret Assassination of the King of the Seven Kingdoms. Jun Quan Ichio Quan Zak San and Gate Koi Chio Kanti. Namthi Rang Ji Quan Angel at SBB King Chung Rain Kui Kum Quite Tam That Chat Fong Tuyen. Rollon JD and Gay Hung CIG Chuanba Sanian. Dun Layan Gan Chan Zak San. Tanayan Kum the Kang the JTCI Trong Thi. Tit Alayan Jup. Kang Kon Cash now Graham Non via Rogo decides to protect Daenerys and her unborn child. Rollon Ji Quan Angela. Kun CC Fong Tuyen and Goi Thang. Rifa 3 Tin Beer Fia Hong Siai. DGISS Bovia CH. Chu Niem CSU Din Vuen Sang. Ban Engle Hyven Chokon. Jihan Bia Chiu Quan Zak. Policy name Melisandre Lick Non Home Tone MTV Teen AP Trong BNSD High. Decided to declare war on the Seven Kingdoms across would finally caught fire. The fire fence that stretched across the city haven't had a chance. The Night King on high uses his power. Control the undead. Slowly put out the fire with the carcass. Ran towards the soldiers in the city at tremendous speed. The undead climbing up the stairs. Attacked to reclaim the body is full of panic. People only know how to fight hard. Found that dragon had turned into Jon started attacking it. 3 dragons plunge into the final battle. Jon and dragon devouring each other. Fall to the ground together. At this Diri found the fallen king of the night. Start spraying fire for revenge. However, renting a boat requires a lot of money. It's not expected. There is ice magic in the Night King. Absolutely not afraid of anything. The fire sees that the situation is not good. Of the king of the then night. The Night King came back. All the dead bodies attack all the surviving soldiers. And the zombies are getting bigger and bigger. Climb the dragon. They started plundering the village. But Daenerys was knocked off the back of the dragon. While looking at 4-sided zombies, you start to panic. Joe also appeared to protect his queen. In the face of countless undead. Stabbed many times. Still trying my best to fight the rest of consciousness. Meanwhile, Melisandre looked into Aerian's deep eyes. Killing. See the mission the King of Light gave. What should we say in the face of death? The time has not yet come. Rushed towards the Night King in the sacred forest. The Night King is about to kill the brand that holds the humanity. Narrowly, Aryan overcame countless undead. Pulled out the attack knife when the Night King grabbed Arya. She threw the knife down and held it with her right robbing hand. And appropriating all women who lost their husbands. In the front. The King of the Night was struck by a dangerous, immediately crumbling into countless pieces of ice. The dead fell to the ground. He became a real dead man to protect Queen Daenerys. Joer is now exhausted. He eventually died of severe injuries, and so the battle of humanity in love with the Dothraki way. Quick time to dawn. I looked at the cold body in front of me. Next to it, Daenerys knows the man who always loves her. Zoro sacrificed his life to save his queen. Then the survivors gather the dead to remember their courage to protect humanity. They set fire to all the dead. Then everyone gathered in the hall. Start reporting the data. Daenerys ordered everyone to stop. He died after a battle with Diri. In the process of fighting the North Vietnamese army also lost 7. And the Dothraki cavalry was almost completely annihilated. And Daenerys' enemy is without aid. The army was on par with and they just spent a lot of powerful mercenaries in Exo. Gold army to 20,000 people. This has caused some disgruntled people to see very angry right now. To prevent the Shay from continuing to expand its territory, decided to leave the north. And his army attacked the landing. But now Sansa suddenly objected. The North just fought a battle. Death is very tired. Need time to rest. I've come here to fight with you. Let my troops pay dearly. Owner biased Daenerys and now is the time to pay back. However, but she was determined to rest. I almost had a fight with Denise. Jon now interrupts as king of the north. Promised to go with Daenerys to the next kingdom injured. Still flying steadily through the air. You're so excited. However, at this time, while Rhaegal was not expected, deciding to challenge, hit by a sharp steel arrow. It's full of pain. Right then the next arrow shoots at the Rhaegal's wing. He finally pierced his neck. Rhaegal was badly injured and fell under Daenerys. Finally fell into the sea. Daenerys dodged the arrow. You look ahead to know that Aaron had long been ambushed with his fleet. Daenerys is in a rage right now. In this duel, the dragon flew straight to them, but Aaron's ready to attack. I saw a lot of shots coming. Daenerys finally compresses anger. Fly away from here with dragon. Their fleet was destroyed by Aaron. Soldiers could only swim to the shore. Aaron proudly came to report the situation, killed Daenerys' dragon. Go ahead and throw the knife. Now they have secured the victory. And Cersei's kind enough to allow the yard inside the city to avoid war. If Tyrion wants to take the throne, you have to walk over their bodies. And if Daenerys actually like your father, the man to become an unpopular tyrant after how much loss. Now Daenerys in a really bad mood. Use flexible avoidance skills. And the faithful servant beside her. Miss Sunday is also captured by Cersei again to King Landing talks. But Cersei made a condition. Look at Cersei's arrogant face. Daenerys very angry. Now to handicrafts of the queen. They demanded that the enemy surrender unconditionally. It's clear that the negotiations again failed. If you have the last word, the fire sword to kill Taesai. Then the mountain drew its sword, beheading the servant. Now Daenerys desperately looks up to the city. I can see the arrogant face. Cersei couldn't contain his rage. Right now, you can be silent at any cost. Just win. The war will tear 1,000 pieces. Daenerys was horrified to see her husband deserve it. It is worth it. 20,000 gold troops and weapons with thousands of civilians who are shielding Cersei. Let's see if Daenerys can fight the last The North Vietnamese were exhausted to infiltrate after the fortified castle of King Landing. It can make a woman so angry. If one day the 2 dragons you raised die, you start to worry. Half of the soldiers died, even to his closest servant. He was beheaded by the enemy in front of him. What will you do? Face the defense of 20,000 gold troops and countless dragon-slaying weapons ready. Besides, Cersei has a big plan. Let's see if Daenerys can attack the city center of the 7 kingdoms today. King Landing now Cersei proudly stands at the top of the city to prevent the injury from getting worse. I want to see the last giant dragon. He will die at his hands. All the soldiers looked up at the sky. A giant creature appears and next Daenerys riding dragon surprise attack to face Cersei's fleet head-on. The soldiers immediately adjusted their arrows. Shoot arrows constantly, however Daenerys take advantage of the sun. Dazzle the enemy. A witch comes forward. Along with that, at the moment she next ordered a fire to destroy the fleet, ordered the weapon to be turned around. But due to equipment limitations, they couldn't aim the low-flying dragon quickly. Daenerys riding dragon destroy the entire Iron Fleet. The Czech Republic is proud to King's Landing. I see the situation is critical. I know a little bit of magic. The soldiers quickly fired arrows at the target, but they're all cleverly dodged by the dragon. Then sprayed flames that burned the archers above the city, while right in front of the city gate. 20,000 gold accidentally. Ready for battle. They have good weapons equipped with high skills, completely on par with the elite army. The commander saw the soldiers. However, he was despised by Ogo's bodyguard Alex, exhausted climbing the mountain into the city. I was sure of the victory. A strong fire broke the top immediately did not have time to react. It's become barbecue. It was accompanied by a great fire. It's the dragon roaring past, and just for a moment. The Golden Army from arrogance to prey only talk that, even experienced commanders, standing in front of this scene. It also completely collapsed. Panicked, fled but was stabbed by the ground. Next cavalry Dokiaki at the top stormed the city and killed the Lannisters along the way, with the soldiers to continue. After they started full-scale fighting, this time Daenerys riding dragon in the air. It's all a scam. Destroy every boat. flying dragons on the front line, and at the Lannister
Sprinklers ignite
fury determined not to spare an air. Meanwhile, sex build on high looking down on the scene discoloration face. I can only watch soldiers being
Their
killed.
dragon
Slaying weapon was completely destroyed by Daenerys. The fleet also failed, but Daenerys still decided to treat. Even gold is paid dearly. He was also in front of the dragon. After listening to Queen say, now Sexy still believes she can win this battle. There are many civilians in the city to make a shield for you. Meanwhile, Daenerys' troops under Ram's command face the last Lannister in the city. They both understand. So Roger took his wife's advice. You will be the final winner. When I heard the dragon's roar, the last commander threw down his weapon. The soldiers also followed. So the bell of King Landing's surrender rings. Everyone knows the war is over. But right now, Daenerys has no intention of stopping. Last words of Miss Sunday's servant. Pathetic. However, during the treatment, the dragon's fire, Donaldi still even doesn't the bell of surrender rings. Who's always compassionate is instantly darkened. As the dragon soared into the civilians air on the ground, nor escaped the fire of the dragon. The lives of everyone in the city seems to be in the hands of Donaldi. I can hear the cry for forgiveness echoing from everywhere. Rogo's health is deteriorating because of his severe. But in return, they're just endless. The queen did not stop. Ram did not hesitate to throw his spear at the ones who surrendered. Lannister army panicked. Not having time to realize it's not okay. Ground was killed. Jon can't stop this brutal massacre. A battle that now turns into a one-sided massacre. Now both the North and Angel finally fell off the horse. They kill like wild animals. Hunger has revealed the dark side of human nature. The child who saw this was completely stunned. Please let him go and save me. From Jon's point of view, you've seen a carnage you've never seen before. It's happening everywhere. And the war is out of AI's control. See, King Cersei was in tears with fear. Denise rushed to check. You can only find a way to escape from the city before Daenerys found. But at that moment, killed the guard next to Cersei. Fell from the city. Now she feels desperate and can only face death alone. My brother James appeared in front of me. You to hold each other tight. And we're going down the underpass. Martinian said, Rogo is in love with man now. Someone will help them get out of the city. But down below they see the entrance was blocked by rocks. Realize there is no hope. James hugged Cersei sobbing, facing death together. He was eventually crushed to death by rocks. Now Daenerys riding dragon burning old people children. While the Dothraki even soldiers loyal to you. I don't know how long. Population of millions almost dead now. Ian looked at the ground. Countless bodies burned black and let fly. I can't describe the feeling right now. Then shivered down the stone, removing appeared in front of him passage. Were the bodies of James. I saw and James checked Rogo weak. Tyrion pained in tears. Desperation has now invaded you. Then Daenerys assembled the entire army. You are still celebrating your victory. They don't care about millions of people dying. Tyrion walked to the queen. 7 thoughts on Daenerys in front of all the soldiers. He threw the handyman down was angry. The wrong person who caught him was the guards seemed to want to betray Rogo. Look at Tyrion. Jon is full of mixed emotions. In the Donaldi Hall, I see what I've always wanted. The throne is now in your hands. And the last fight made you realize compassion cannot conquer this world. Jon walked over to Donaldi. I know the woman I love while has pretending to kiss Daenerys. Back to the camp. So that there are no more tyrants. Besides, in the world. Jon suddenly pulled Sao out, crashed into Daenerys completely. Daenerys now looks at you with incredible eyes and died in Jon's arms. Jor flipped over the cloth that covered his wound. It turns out that the wound has been damaged a lot, and Jor told her in advance that the great chief Khan, Rogo won't make it through the night. In this situation, but Daenerys they have to abandon her husband. Alex came in, also see Ogo's external wound, and said that after Ogo died, you will no longer be anything. Daenerys angrily told Alex, I am not an unknown but a true dragon. Now to prevent a revolt, Daenerys told Jor to wear armor. The witch looked at Rogo in a coma. He remembered that a forbidden spell could save you from death. You have to sacrifice your life in exchange. Daenerys doesn't understand the meaning yet. Ogo's horse is led into the tent. Daenerys, the witch begins magic and ask everyone to come out now. because tonight the dead will dance here. The witch killed the horse and began to hum. The devil's terrible cry echoed everywhere. Ours next door can't help it. To push the dearie down, he decided to kill the witch. Realized the dangerous situation, Jor draw the sword out in a dangerous confrontation. Is ours under Rogo. He has sophisticated extremely agile, but besides that sour quickly sees the opportunity to end his life. Meanwhile, Daenerys' baby is about to be born, but all midwives think that no one dared to give birth to you. Now only witches understand this. It got to this point. There was no way Jorah would have to carry Daenerys into the night of 10 deaths. Then Daenerys finally woke up. I'm so excited to see you. But Jorah was silent. The witch came in and said, the child who was born was a monster. Body deformities grow wings like the liver is full of tremors, and that's the price of magic at the cost of life. Take life. At this point, Daenerys completely collapsed. You said take me to Rogo. I want to see that I gave my life. What did the boy get? This time when Daenerys came out of the tent, most of the tribes have left. For the Dothraki follow only the strong. When I see you go again, Daenerys knows your life has been saved, but he became a vegetable. No more fighting power. Energy moves closer to the only thing she feels. I want to know when my husband will be back. The witch just laughed and replied, when the sun rises in the west. Diving east, the sea is dry, the mountains maybe fly you were like talking leaves. Normally listen then to the witch. Daenerys now knows she was fooled. Previous wound medicine Cho'Ogo is toxic. You just gave birth to. She was also injured by her magic. Now the witch also confessed you have burned down my temple. Kill everyone in my village. In my mind I only think of revenge. After listening to the witch, Daenerys decided to remain silent so that her husband would no longer suffer his fate. Determined to make living like that. Now she's putting pillows on Ogo's face to Mr. Nary guard placing rare dragon next to Rollo's body to bury Theo. Jorah said in a hurry. He would not let his queen burned alive by fire. And Daenerys just kissed Jorah on the like cheek, saying one last goodbye. Then she went back and told the rest of the You can stay here. Here you will become friends and family. In the meantime, to punish the witch, Daenerys told Jorah to tie her to the crematorium. Finally, tell those who remain, I am Daenerys Stoneman of Targaryen House. In the pure-blooded of the family is the blood of the legendary Then Daenerys lit the fire. Flames start land wide. The witch began to scream. Daenerys glanced at Jorah now, in front of everyone's eyes, into the fire with the flames burning. The witch's voice died down. So there's a big fire burning through the night. Jorah and the guards came slowly but found in the ash smoke. See Daenerys still not sow. Her hands are holding you miraculously survived. Standing in front of this amazing sight, Jorah can't describe how he feels right now at that moment. Those who witnessed the miracle, all on their knees, completely submit to the woman in front of them. And now this girl has a new name. It's a dragon. They'll take the giant dragon across the sea. We are going to attack the Seven Kingdoms to restore the throne of the Targaryen house. On a day home Targaryen led under the giant dragon. With overwhelming power of attack, he ruled 7 powerful kingdoms, survived for a long time, until the family civil war and dragon disaster. Dragon under the reign of is also extinct. And so the throne of the Targaryen family were eventually overthrown by the rebels. After the time has passed, humans have forgotten the existence of dragons. It's just a creature of legend. However, more than 100 years after the last blood of the Targaryen family set foot on the hot Exoland, into the burning just one night. 3 dragon eggs. Thousands of years old fossil blooms. 3 little dragons were born. Those who witnessed the miracle were astonished. They all looked at the woman. They're all conquered and she's got a new name. Dragon God model, but abandoned by the tribe. Daenerys is left desolate crimson alone. She and the rest of the Dothraki. I walked all day and night tired. Even the horse is too tired to lie flat on the ground. But Daenerys had no way. So she decided. 3 of his strongest warriors, riding the other horses, each facing northeast, southeast, to find water and caravans. Now look at the 3 people. Then it gave them her last hope. After a long waiting period, only one horse came back. This time as Joe approaches, he found a cloth bag hanging from
It's
the
the
side
head
of
of
one
the
of the
horse.
3 warriors. Daenerys sent it. It's obviously done by a tribe. They didn't welcome the arrival of the Dothraki and killed Daenerys' warrior. This made Daenerys very angry and distraught. You feel guilty about those 3 people. Maybe if we get out of this desert, we'll avenge the killing of all the people of that tribe. The maid saw her lover die like completely collapsed. For according to the custom of the Dothraki, the dead must be cremated to be reunited with their ancestors, but his soul will become a wandering devil everywhere in the world. Next to it in the evening, a warrior. The survivors have returned and gladly let Daenerys know there is a city ready to receive. They just need to head east in 3 days. Zorosai Bacho Rang H Ko the Liu, Di Sao Ko Law Hyven Dine C. The law Sao Bienge. H Kui Kung Kung Han GGC Then for GSA I Tro SAMC Newa Yun Challenge. GGC Gi Law 13 Via Bua. Tunayan Kithi Daenerys Hem. H Kang HCM Thang. TDC Humo Non Iranian Con UIV Tran the GG. Quan Yu Giri Non Nalki King Fine Line Asia. T2 and Gale PPTIC Mungji Dan CM Chin Hun Si Trong Policy J Robert Non Round CC Jitcha J Sai King Hun Yun Tip Catcha Daenerys Bid M Chin Bakoithon DN Theo B and LCC VID and Gen DM Chin Non Lay SSSB Nakba Robert Kang Moy Thong Kang Choki Dothrock Man Ark Valthan Y Hun Dint Lomwan Chinkin SS Policy Name Chik No CG Daenerys TIC Gin Tin Lam Fian Top Heed Warang Q Ranian CC Iranian Fury TFC from Dan TICC Hang Robert Chung HSD Han CM DUP Thine Rain Bang 9 LSC Name MT Trong 13 Angkai Arch CM Fat Nenji Dum Dao Reislong Ben Tam Chen with the Turchak Chin Fine Lin Ang SN Dung Dan Du CM Chen Jo Fep H Valthan Geki Niuko Chai Jiang The Law Lane H Niang Ko MT Than from Musia K Choki Doth Trong De Jion Udrik Nike Donaldi Non Nung Con Rain Yang Non The BTE Chu Hun Lion Bun Chang Fun Lay Now Bakan Non Thi Rainian Con Hein Gig G Nian Tin Lai Lay Gai Vang Si Diri Kang Sauko Daenerys Rafa Ulasi Naam T Fap SB Sai T Hyven Daenerys Go Them Hun Biek TTC Riki Cho Daenerys MT BNNDC Na Arch T Salva Tibin Trom Ko The Theme UMT Kek Now Juna TV Engay Sauko Fap SB Zu Hein White Turchak and MT Kan NDCC MGIG Iakting LSC Namtiki by DVI CN MTSP Gilo on Luan Chim Iakon Ranian Non C Daenerys Them Cod Angle Ranian Con HVC and Fun Hun Then Hai Bo Vietit and Home C Angry LSC Zoro Sauki and Li Siench Bo BD Chu Lolan Hun Ifan by DN Ko Kolm Chafap SPK Trong LSC Ko Saro Kia Diri Valkan Yan Engi CC Norang Kia Salkin C Chaco Bowel and the Gigi Chasian N Lion Teeth and Nate Kunji MUAGGC Chio Kwan Jiu CU Diet 7 Biban Bachakoa Diet Musiake La Sheep Chakoa Trans CT Enli Kamdi Kokyon C They Gig Diri Bit Moan Koji GC Ko Bao Koko Ichio Kayan C Fuder Then BNC Sorrow Wahin Tang Bia Con Rainian Non CI Ko the Lai GGC Vang BCC GCC China Jor Wakan and Gendiri Angton Ranko Bao Ko Lo Lue Chu Then Tian Kwan GG and HN Daenerys Arki Rang Diri BNC Hang Archd Kot Kao Lai Lai Gai Vang C TIC Tanayan Jor Bo C Hen Min Thuk SS Kang Phi Than Fane Gig Han LSC CNNT Luck Lai Gai Vang Then Thuk Luck Sauko VVISS Cho Jor LP D2IC Chuan Batin TM Bachuan Bariki Than Fane and Daenerys Chat Ki Sai Con Roan Mat Tau Cantor C KGS DBNC Arch 7 B Bon Quirk MTK G Lan Gai Vang C Ascender Blagian Haley SUO PP2IC BNMDU G Thine Rainian Kenko Kwan Hung Chung Ko Hen Nin Jacobi Con Rainian Nong Ang Tuya GSN Kan Lam Thong Dia Neo Heim Navi Huikon Daenerys Kun Chako Haravi VI Bante Train C Fat Hyatt TTC DCM Chen Huba Gipting Fong Capni Tran MTJ Con Rainian Contran MTD Daenerys TIC Rainian C Hawaii House BPG and Tronki Ko Wayan Kong MTG by DNMCC O Chang Ban Ba Con Rainian C Daenerys Han Nat Chung Trong Kong Yan CM Chen Sauhan 100 and Chim KTQ Rainyang to
The Equatring Rainyang
Hothashengang. Kui Kong GGC MT Gifan Epi Neutron Tanayan MT Tan Trom Bien Jurachim Ho Rainyang Konan Kon CCP Sabi Akon Rainyang Jinkin Chinese or Radiri Hometown SPP Daenerys TIC Game. Rainyang Seato I How Bay Gig G Ko Joran T Lania High Thankton T Gifan Hang Sita G Kira MT Chio Policy Navet Jor the Rang Souni SN MYMY Trump MYMY Non DNMT Quite Tam C Jor Elasine Gifan by DNP Lanoi Tun Trom Thuk SS Chen Long V Jor Vivian Chi Via Pia Daenerys Daenerys GY Con Yan 19 Via Vu Y Juk Team TM Labia Con Rainyang YCCM Chom The Kuk Rainyang Con Who Ascension Het Olasine Hang Daenerys Noi Vien Hang Robert Vien Van the Nang Cho Rang SS Chamang Hinsi Hold the Theme Hway Cho the G Olasine Fabus Vien Thine J 9 Lan TV Icon Kai Einbit via Tri-C Hang Fabus Con Via Harry Fabus Jukin Non Giba Nat Trom Han Via Tacho Rang Bunchung Choti Kitan Ray Jack LS Fat Vien to Cho and Tronki Ko Via Busi Ketji Ken Y and Tang Via Con Rainyang Non Hang Kit Ken Ko Busima Hang Gik the Kori Amtini of the Thum Jiko Hai Olasine Daenerys Chanang T TVC Nam Chai and Zoshane Hudu MT Te Soros VTJ Konan Git Sai Trofen and C Fapas Gik Soro Kun Sai Trokyan Sauki Non Rotunda Nui Hang and Gale PPQIC Olasine Jor Chanli Hut Hai Un LSC Tum Kim Kam Babgi Fapaspi Nang Kang and Kolof Enden Sauko Fapaspi Zut Hai and Yfeel UCSU Daenerys Gale PPQIC and Hoi UTNC Chung Olasine Zoroli Noi Daenerys Chito Dan Fune Gig King Con and Tone Tone Law MT Zixi Sharo Georgie Chuan and Sian Thian Mon Resign on Daenerys Chung Yin Kong Kai Si Vien Bafapaspi Jin Chikong Sen Han Hun Viek TV Hang Zorobit Han Yon Si Daenerys Chin Lai Chai Fapaspi Chen Si and Co New HY Le Sha Balbabai Si Tum Fapas Kane Bao Gik Faput Si Fapas Bi Kwai Leakin and Gen Si Jor Daenerys Kwa Quite Noi Tromba GG Na the Si King ST Chin La Fapsi Val Hang Kang Ba Angle Future Chiko in for 3 Nanji Bataji Vira Chojahan CDC Nan Chao Ko and Chi Daenerys The Jor Kui Kung Han Hung Bien Un CCV Hyven Lai Le Rainyang Kai Archti Munja Waiko Hang HB and Quite Hun Sai Han Hun Viet T Hun Ni Daenerys Hai King Koe I Can Dak Sung Quan Ni Ne Enge CC Seeing Bao Kun Yang Tora Hai Cho and T Chin Bin Kan Chum YK Kanem Chen SN Tip TIC Sai Theo Daenerys Hang Jake Nai and BGC Chen Daenerys King Ulasi King Rebin MTD Non Chong Ulasi Tinky Jor Tim Lai Jo Jack Play via Tri-C and Home Giko and Tronki Ko Daenerys Jiba Fep Thut Kia Val and Trong Han Bay TD CCMN Group Site Theo Ting QC Fat Long Kong Olasine Si Moram Deacon CK Nan Si Fat High and Trong Town Angry Toid Archti Niu Olasine Daenerys Macha Si Ting Via Theater Zipko M Deacon CCing LNTT Murao Bichitrom Namt Daenerys Jihan Vieb CT Trom the Tit CCC Alain Vivio Bio Tuay Daenerys MDH Non the Future Chin La MT Kailu Quen Thuk Han Kung Sai Bao Trom VVI Daenerys Fat High and Mchen GBGC Bao CM Ko Cheng Ogo Hangum Diri Non CN Stunter Chak MT DJing the CM Non GGC Jahan Thuk SS Jeter Laban C Olasine Ogo Ven Nai Daenerys Humri Kike Hai Wyban C and Contri CH Tunai and Daenerys BT C and Chen Le Li Nuyon C and for Johan Ki MT Turkey and CC Lane Fia Hong by and C and Kani Non Rogo MGI Ko the Ki Turk Laban C Hang Arch T Teak TTC MGI the Hu Kang Fi Rogo Jake Nai and Hong CC and Lay They Gig Daenerys Kao Henry Kile C BFT and the Bian Zip Ko Chat Chung Non MDM Chen VVO Via Bun Chung Tring Arch T Toy U Sauko Fap SV Zut Hai and Angtan Moi VVI CSNYK Tri Quam Wa Hong Vei MYMY Ban C and Rain Chohan Gai Fat Kui Kung C Kwak GGIT Non Chom Daenerys Bajian Zik Chowman Turk Via Diri Stoneman Tanayan Diri Noi VVI Fat Na CC Can Wine All Wyban Kia Bio The Con Kogai Vang C. You're going to have to wait a long time. Daenerys said nothing more at this point. I turned to look at my dragons. It seemed that she had read the words of the 3 dragons. She suddenly remembered her first dragon training. The magician peeked at the 3 little dragons with a stupid face. Back off. Soon the young dragon spits out the donkey. Direct the fire towards him. Immediately countless dragon flames began a violent attack on the magician. In the shaman's wailing. He was quickly killed by the fire, while the fire from the dragon's mouth causes the temperature of the chain to rise, make them melt. Now Diri hasn't finished business. She led the army to the palace to find Sarah wants justice back. I found out that the maid used to serve me. That person betrayed you. And she wants to explain, but was quickly interrupted by Daenerys. Then stole Sharrow's keys, and they've opened the door to the world's greatest treasure. Now, when Daenerys held the torch and peered inside, there's nothing. Turns out Sarah just built the picture, conquering the perfect world. In American words with Daenerys, after looking at the empty tunnel, Daenerys doesn't feel angry because of your enemy. I have taught you a lesson more important than Diri casually wrong prisoner, Sorrow and the traitorous maid, into the cellar that Sorrow himself seemed to dream of. And they're waiting for the near dark outside of this key. No one can open the door. Finally, the Dothraki looted Sarah's palace. I bought all my possessions to buy this place full of shit. Let's say you have 3 dragons at the beginning. But for the Diri of the Targaryen house, it's not enough to defeat the 7 kingdoms. The most powerful army in the world is the elite. These warriors practice their spears, sword knife and knife from 5 years old. Besides, for kids fighting hand in hand, only 1 child survived. Be eligible to become an angel with their absolute loyalty. It's like a dog next to its owner. There is no fear. And now to prove it, the slave owner pulled out the knife, cruelly cut a piece of meat on Angelite's body. But the warrior didn't blink. After seeing that, Diri was very surprised. Then the slave master told the Diri, there's a total of 8,000 Angelites like this. He had to pick out 8,000 elite soldiers. In the process, 32,000 warriors fight to the death, and then choose his 8,000 best warriors. See how to select such harsh warriors. The Diri's eyes were full of anger. But the slave master urged Daenerys. There are a lot of orders from other places, and can't wait. After thinking, Daenerys and Joe decide to buy 8,000 so that they don't suffer cruel torture because of the non-air and behavior of the Kia boss. However, the slave owner became Daenerys in the Illyria that you don't understand because he knew Daenerys couldn't afford to buy. With the property you have, plus Dothraki, that's enough for 100 But now the slave owner didn't expect it. Daenerys was going to give a dragon in exchange. Seeing the Diri's crazy act, Alice and Joe advised her not to because we need to know that a stronger dragon, thousands of horses. But Daenerys still decided that, and made a deal with the slave owner. You will bring the greatest dragon in exchange for 8,000 angels. Before I was about to leave, I also asked to bring you a female translator. Then she told Zora and Bylas they should never doubt my decision in front of strangers, or you can find another queen. Missandei told Diri, once the army belongs to you completely, they will only listen to your orders. Besides, in the coin battle go down 3,000 Angelites. Stop 50,000 Doki cavalry. Attack. Now hearing Missandei's confident answer, Daenerys is more determined to trade dragons for the army. And that very day, when Daenerys brought the dragon, this was translated by Miss Sunday. Slave owner tells Daenerys, when you get this army, you can plunder the neighboring city. They steal their children from their parents and sell them at a high price. He will produce another batch of sonic feeders for sale. After listening to the cruel words of the slave owner, now, she turned her back with a blank face next to her. Under everyone's curious eyes, she went to open the crib. Guide dragon were raised on top, then slowly towards the slave owner and put it in his hand. Then, slave owners also happily put take care of the Diri who holds one command. He will take full control of the military. Now everything is yours. Listen to the slave owner. Daenerys back to face the army with our now with an order from you. Sonic has lined up. Then Daenerys ordered them to move forward and tell them to stop. They're all doing the wrong thing. Daenerys is now the owner of the elite army. The slave owner felt helpless, the dragon trying to escape from the iron chains at the hands of slave owners, and he can't seem to control this dragon. Using a derogatory tone to tell the dragon is not good at all. The translator couldn't say anything. Now Daenerys has come back to say, dragons are not slaves. Turns out Daenerys can speak Valyrian. Even if there is no translation, understand everything the slave owner says about you. Now, I'm the Diri's tomboy of the Targaryen family. Legendary dragons are flowing in people. And Valyria is my mother tongue. Immediately after that, Donaldi ordered for kill all the people who beat them. Revenge for his humiliation. And avenge the 24,000 little
Immediately,
creatures who
the
lost their
Angelite
lives.
received the order to
Stab
attack
the CIA officer with a spear. The scene is now very chaotic. The cry of sorrow echoed everywhere. Kill this woman. Kill her. Kill her. Daenerys came back for barbecue.
Immediately,
for dragon spewed out powerful flames. Slave owner covered in sea of donkeys quickly dissolves into ash. Dragon flew up to the wall, spitting out a violent flame. Burn every guard on the wall. Now Daenerys headed for the center of the Angelians on horseback spoke to them. You live like slaves all your life. Suffer from soaring roar and humiliation. We are now freeing you. If anyone wants to leave now, I promise just leave. But if you want to fight for the freedom of all of you can fight with me. The Seven Kingdoms. Freedom for the people are still under brutal torture. After saying those words, Daenerys knew he took a big risk that could make all the soldiers leave her wife. But right then and there, a warrior starts brandishing his spear. Then, all the other sound of spears hitting the ground echoed at that moment. All except Daenerys, ready to give your life for you, fight for you. And so Daenerys managed to capture 8,000 Angelites under his sway. And with the army left slavery. Now look at the roy in your hands. Daenerys threw it to the ground without hesitation. Because with you right now, it's absolutely no longer necessary. Then among the Angelite officers now, Donaldi chooses Ram as commander-in-chief. And next, Donaldi will free slaves in the city. Next up is Junkai. But now Jorah tells Donaldi taking this city would take a lot of manpower. We have no reason it doesn't help to take the throne. At that time Daenerys was also wondering. But when Jorah says there were 200,000 slaves in the city, she understood her goal and said firmly, currently, 200,000 slaves are suffering. So you've got 200,000 reasons now to Daenerys take the city. And 8,000 powerful determined to conquer this battle of liberation, to free all slaves. The elite army in Game of Thrones. How scary it is.